Design and Analysis of Algorithms class. Myself, I'm Shravani, Assistant Professor from the Department of CSC. Today we'll have the topic which is Introduction to NP-hard and NP-complete under Unit 5, which is branch and bound. Now, in this lecture, I'm going to cover what is meant by NP-complete and NP-hard, and also what is meant by P, and also what is meant by deterministic algorithms and non-deterministic algorithms, and what is meant by how an algorithm, and what are all the algorithms which can be solved using which can be solved in polynomial time and which can be solved in exponential time. All these we are going to cover in today's lecture. Objective. Coming to the objective, with today's lecture, the students are able to understand the concept of P, NP and NP-hard and NP-complete. And coming to the outcome, after learning this lecture, the students are able to differentiate what is meant by P, NP and how, P, NP and NP-hard and how they are related and how they are differentiated. They can able to understand after learning this particular lecture. Now, let's go with polynomial versus exponential. So, till now we have seen some of the algorithms like linear search, binary search, insertion sort, merge sort, right? And all these algorithms are solved within polynomial time, And for example, linear search can be solved within big O of n. Now binary search can be solved within log n time, and insertion sort big O of n square, merge sort big O of n log n. And coming to exponential time, and these are the algorithms which we have learnt even as part of our course 0/1 knapsack, which requires 2 power n time, right? And traveling salesperson problem and sum of subsets, Hamiltonian cycle, graph coloring, right? All these algorithms requires approximately 2 power n time. So here all these are exponential time taking algorithms, right? And all these are polynomial time taking algorithms. And in practical, when you are giving time, when you are solving a particular algorithm within a polynomial time, then that is the best one. Whereas to solve a particular algorithm using within exponential time, it takes more. Whereas comparatively, polynomial is less. For example, here if n is equal to 100, let us consider n is equal to 100. And I'm having a polynomial time n cube, right? And whereas 2 power n here under exponential time. So here n cube is somewhat lesser than 2 power n. Here when n is growing more, so here in that case exponential time required is more. Whereas if you are considering your polynomial time, it takes less time over the exponential time. Our main objective is convert this exponential time taken algorithms into polynomial time algorithms. Here I cannot convert completely, but I can have some expectation. At least I have to meet some considerations, and I should convert them, right? So such that all these algorithms should be completed within polynomial time. So for that, what I'm supposed to do, that is, I have to implement a non-deterministic algorithm which can be solved within polynomial time. That is one. And the other one is here, if you find the similarities between all these problems, if I found the similarities between all these problems, then if one problem can be solved, such that that problem is solved within a polynomial time, right? So then it is easy for us to convert, or it is easy for us to solve the other problems, such that the other problem can also be solved in polynomial time. So here the 2 points you have to remember is, here if you find the similarities among these algorithms, then if one problem is solved, then automatically the remaining problems can also be solved in polynomial time. That is one point. And the other point is, if you write a non-deterministic algorithm which can be solved in polynomial time, then also you can achieve this, right? So these are the 2 points you are supposed to remember. Now I am saying deterministic and non-deterministic, right? So what is meant by deterministic? So deterministic algorithm. Deterministic means till now whatever we have seen all are come under deterministic algorithms, right? So for example, here I am showing you the linear search algorithm. Linear search, where list is a given list of elements, okay, list or a, okay, a comma value, and value is a key element which I want to find out here, right? Value or key, a and key, let us consider a and key, right? So here this is a algorithm, linear search algorithm, you have already know it. So now let's have a look on deterministic and non-deterministic algorithms. So coming to deterministic algorithms, the deterministic algorithms are till now whatever we have seen, all those are deterministic algorithms where each and every statement is clear and unambiguous. Each and every statement is clear and unambiguous. And here whatever the input we are given, so for that input we'll get an output, such that here each and every time for any number of attempts for the same input you will get the same output. Please remember, that is about your deterministic algorithms, and which are very clear and unambiguous, right? So here if you have seen clearly, in deterministic algorithms, for a given particular input the computer will always produce the same output going through the same states. For example, here I'll be having Q1, let us consider. So this Q1 will always move to Q2 and Q3 when the input is 1 and when the input is 0. So let us take, this is the deterministic algorithm example, deterministic finite automata. I think you have learned as part of flat subject, right? So coming to non-deterministic. So this is algorithm for non-deterministic search. So in this non-deterministic search, what happens is, here you are going to use three functions, success, failure, choice, right? So here this is a modified algorithm of non-deterministic search, where I am having a comma n comma x. A is the array or list, n is the size of array, and x is a key element which we are going to find out. Now for I is equal to 1 to n, what I am doing, j is equal to select of a comma n. So here this select function or choose function or choice function is going to return the corresponding index position or the location of j, location of the j. So here location j from the given array, or position of that corresponding key element. Okay, so if a of j is equal to x, then what it means? Element is found, right? In that case, simply success. Simply I am calling the function success. Otherwise, I am calling the function called failure. Failure means here the element is not found. So in that case, simply call the failure function, which represents an unsuccessfulness. Now, for a non-deterministic algorithm, here each time the output varies. For each and every attempt, the output will be varied. For example, let us consider here for Q1, if I am giving the input as 1, okay, I will be getting Q2. If I am giving the input as 1, the same one, I am getting the output as Q3 for other time. So here non-deterministic. So for the same input, I will be having two different outputs, right? So for each and every run or each and every attempt, I will be having different outputs or different results for a non-deterministic one, right? So our main motto is here, we need to implement the non-deterministic algorithm for exponential algorithms, well, for the algorithms which are running in the exponential time. Let us consider 0 by 1 knapsack or sum of subsets or graph coloring or Hamiltonian cycle, right? For any of the algorithm, if you write a non-deterministic algorithm, so then if that non-deterministic algorithm is working within the polynomial time, then we can say that that problem is almost equivalent to solving within polynomial time, right? So here for that I need how to write non-deterministic algorithm. So here I have used three things: select, success, failure, right? So here let us learn what are all the functions we are using in order to write a non-deterministic algorithm, right? There are three functions basically we are using to implement non-deterministic algorithms. The first one is a choice. So choice of S arbitrarily chooses one of the element of set S, For example, in your previous example, it is giving select of a comma n I had given, right? So here it will arbitrarily given any one of the element. So each time the attempt, each time in every attempt I'm getting a one value which is a randomly chosen one, right? Now failure signals unsuccessful completion. Now success signals a successful completion or result into a success. And this is a non-deterministic sorting algorithm. Previously you have seen non-deterministic searching algorithm, right? So this is a version non-deterministic sorting algorithm. So now here for I is equal to 1 to n, here I am selecting any one of the element, and now b of I is equal to a of j. So here create an array b by selecting n elements. Now for j is equal to 1 to n, if b of I is greater than b of I plus 1, here b array stores all the values in the a, right? But here directly I am not copying from a to b. Here I am using a select function, so that will arbitrarily chooses any value among the a, and it is going to be assigned to b. Now if b of I is greater than b of I plus 1, failure, otherwise it is a success. So this is how we had modified the sorting algorithm, which is a non-deterministic sorting algorithm, right? Now let's come to our topic now, right? So mainly what is our today's lecture intention? You must have a knowledge on P, NP, NP hard and NP complete, right? So now P means P is a set of all deterministic algorithms which can be solved within polynomial time. Okay, set of deterministic algorithms solved in polynomial time. For example, linear search, binary search, Huffman coding, right? And single source shortest path, all these are come under your P. P stands for set of deterministic algorithms. And coming to NP, NP stands for set of non-deterministic algorithms that can be solved in polynomial time. P stands for deterministic algorithms, set of deterministic algorithms solved in polynomial time. NP stands for set of non-deterministic algorithms which uses all these three functions: choice and success, failure, right? And which can be solved in polynomial time. For example, 0 by 1 knapsack, all pair shortest path, sum of subsets, right? Graph coloring, Hamiltonian cycle, all these are come under your NP. Now this is a common relationship between P and NP. So here if I consider P as a deterministic algorithms, right? So now this is about NP. So P is subset or equal to NP, and here our main intention is we need to convert all these non-deterministic algorithms into P, right? So for that the research is going on. So here what are all the NP problems we are having, right? So those NP algorithms now we want to convert into P, such that here this P gets expanded, and finally in future at least our next coming up generation can see that this P is almost equivalent to this NP is almost equivalent to P, right? Now satisfiability. So what is meant by satisfiability? So here generally, okay, so before going to satisfiability, so generally here the solution which we want to give with the help of for example dynamic programming. So in your dynamic programming, how you are giving your solution in terms of a tuple solution, that is 1 0 1 0 1 0 1, right? Likewise you are giving a tuple solution in terms of zeros and ones, so which are nothing but 0 and 1 is nothing but boolean values, right? So here we are using a satisfiability function or satisfiability, and this satisfiability function basically which is a NP hard, right? Coming to satisfiability problem, so what is the statement? So basically, if the boolean variables can be assigned values such that the formula turns out to be true, okay, here whenever I am giving some boolean values to an expression and that expression is resulting into true, then we can say that corresponding formula or propositional logic is satisfiable, right? Now that is come under your SAT formula, okay? If at all, if I am having a SAT formula, what is meant by SAT or satisfiability? Both are same. Coming to satisfiability problem, what is the statement, right? So let x1, x2, xn be the boolean variables, and a formula is a conjunctive normal form of the form like this. For example, if I am having, let us consider if I am having three variables, boolean variables x1, x2, x3. So I am having x1 or x2 or x3, okay, and x1 bar or x2 or x3 bar, right? So here this is a first clause 1 and this is clause 2. This is clause 1 and this is clause 2, and x1, x2, x3 all are literals or variables, and here each and every clause in the given CNF includes disjunction, okay, this is disjunction, whereas every clause is combined with a conjunction. Every clause is combined with a conjunction, and this is a CNF. CNF stands for conjunctive normal form. I think it's already finished as part of your MFCS subject, so I'm not giving you more stress on that. So basically a conjunctive normal form means here I'll be having some set of clauses, and each and every individual clause will have the literals with disjunction, and all the clauses will be summed up, or all the clauses will be combined with the help of conjunction, right? Now individual clause will have a disjunction and all the clauses will be combined with conjunction. That's why it is a conjunctive normal form, right? Now the satisfiability problem is to determine whether a formula is true for some assignment of truth values or not. For some assignment of truth values, I should have true, right? Now here, for suppose, let us consider this example. So x1, x2, x, I'm having three variables, right? So x1, x2, x3. So 0, 0, 0, 0, 1, 0, 1, 0. Likewise, how many I can write? 1, 1, 1. So how many combinations I'm having? 8 combinations. So and for any one of the combination among 8 combinations, it will yields us true. Am I right or not? So here how many number of possibilities I have to check? Here three variables I'm having, so which is equal to 2 cube. If I am having n variables x1 to xn, so then I have 2 power n possibilities. Here there are 3 boolean variables, I'm having 8 possibilities, right, which is equal to 2 cube. If there are n variables, I'll be having 2 power n possibilities, right? That is nothing but out of 2 power n possibilities, I'll be having any one or more than one, I'll be having as a true. Coming to Cook's theorem. So satisfiability is P if and only if P is equal to NP. Now these are the definitions you are supposed to remember under Cook's theorem. Let L1 and L2 are two problems Here problem L1 reduces to L2, which I can also represent as L1 is reducing to L2. If and only if there is a way to solve L1 by deterministic polynomial time. If I am solving L1 by using deterministic polynomial time, I can also solve the same thing by using deterministic algorithm solve. Right? So here the L2 can also be solved with the deterministic algorithm, and within polynomial time even this L2 can also be solved if L1 is reducing L2. Please remember. Now the next one is a problem L is NP hard if and only if SAT reduces to L, that is satisfiability reduces to L. Okay, here if a problem L is in NP hard if and only if our satisfiability is reduces to L, and a problem L is in NP complete if and only if L is NP hard and L belongs to NP. Okay, I can say that NP complete, that is all the non-deterministic algorithms which can be solved in polynomial time, can be known as NP complete. Right? How the satisfiability problem is relating to our remaining problems, because previously I said that if one of the problem is solved in the exponential time category, I can solve the remaining ones, right? So here your satisfiability problem is having how many possibilities? 2 power n possibilities, right? 2 power n possibilities. Now let us consider your knapsack problem. So your knapsack problem, for suppose it is having 3, n is equal to 3. If it is having 3 items, so how you are depicting your solution? x1 is equal to 1, x2 is equal to 1, x3 is equal to 0, right? So which is nothing but a tuple solution you are representing, 1, 1, 0. So here also you will be having 8 combinations. Here n is equal to 3 items. So we will be having 8 combinations, 2 cube, x1 is equal to 0, x2 is equal to 0, x3 is equal to 0, that is one combination. So out of 8 combinations you will be getting any one as a true, such that here that any one will be true whichever tuple is satisfying the maximization function criteria, that is maximize summation Pixi. And this is a relation between all P, NP, NP complete and NP hard. So previously we have seen that this P is a subset or equal to NP, right? So P stands for deterministic algorithms which can be solved in polynomial time, and NP means non-deterministic algorithms solved in polynomial time. And NP hard means here which are under satisfiability, right? Satisfiability condition, and which are NP hard and NP, right? Which satisfies NP hard and NP will come under your NP complete, which is nothing but here the algorithms which satisfies which can be solved within polynomial time and which are non-deterministic algorithms, right? Which are come under your NP complete. Here NP hard problems can come under NP complete when they are solving within polynomial time, although they are belonging to exponential time. Okay, although these algorithms can be solved within exponential time, now we are reducing it by changing the deterministic algorithm to non-deterministic algorithm by using 3 functions that we have learned today. Okay, by using that we are changing our exponential time algorithms to non-deterministic algorithms, and those can be solved within polynomial time. Then we can say that those particular algorithms are come under your NP complete. And one more thing here, if L1 and L2, these are the 2 problems. If L1 is reducing to L2, if L1 is reducing to L2 and L2 is reducing to L3. Okay, for example, exponential time algorithms, there are n algorithms. Then if L1, L2, Ln algorithms are n problems under exponential time. If L1 is reducing to L2, then L2 is reducing to L3. right? Likewise, L3 is reducing to L4, but not directly. Here L1, as L1 is reducing to L2, I cannot say that. Here L3 can also be solved. From L2 or from L1, from any one of them, I can solve the remaining ones. Please remember here, for suppose, as L1 is reducing L2 and L2 is reducing L3 and L3 is reducing L4. So here I am having the solution of L4 from L1. Understood? So that is how they are dependent to each other. And our main theme is to complete all these NP hard problems, and here make it come under NP complete. So here complete all the NP hard computer science problems and make it within NP complete. And finally, after having all our research of our future generation, even those NP complete problems are also come under P. That is, those are the deterministic algorithms. Okay, so here we are coming up with all those solutions. For that, presently research is going. Coming to the summary. So today we have seen what is meant by P, NP, NP hard, NP complete, and also the relation among all, and also we have seen the deterministic versus non-deterministic algorithms. Deterministic versus non-deterministic algorithms. Those we have seen. Thank you.